I live a life that I've always dreamed of, and that's
And
I
that's a
guess
blessing.
that is a blessing.
It's a blessing.
As somebody who's watched the podcast, I was always like Vinayak wants me on this.
And whose idea was it originally? Was it your grandfather's or your father's?
My grandfather actually got into this industry very much by chance. He used to gamble, and believe it or not, this entire property was bought on the winnings of one race. The More sons never agree with their fathers.
Yeah.
So after my 12th, I went and I joined a computer firm. Computers and tech was
Right.
one of my other things that I was very fond of. My mum had started Japaloop and with these two Goras, the two foreigners, they were Dutch people. But that turned out to be quite a, they were proper scam artists. We found out much later that they had done this.
Why Japaloop? Tell us the story of the name.
Absolute truth is that when we restarted Japaloop, it was with one very clear sort of thought process that लोगों का पैसा वापस देके बंद करेंगे. Rather, Dad called me and he was like, "What's happening?" And we were just talking, and he said, "I've got news for you," and I was like, "I've got news for you." So, what was this thing? So I said, "Okay, you go first," and he said, "I've been diagnosed with cancer." And he said, "What's your news?" And I said, "No, I'm coming home."
Yeah.
Working with horses is a lot like your legal industry.
Yeah.
I've had the most incredibly interesting mentors. One of them is for my first, when I was in school, is an ex-president's bodyguard. He always asked me a question, "Ghoda kya soch raha hai?" I was never a really top-class rider. I was in the upper middle class. It's like I said, social media is something that I'm, even the Japaloop,
Grappling with.
yeah. I mean, I'm getting old.
How much
Of
does a
course.
typical horse cost?
Oh man, it could start.
What's the lower band and what's the higher band?
Start at about ₹1 lakh and just add as many zeros as you want. I have a complaint. I don't know if it's me being just me, but I find that there is a huge amount of impatience, which people need to learn that, or the upcoming generations that are getting into the sport need to learn that sometimes it is good to spend time in the process because you're going to learn things along the way.
I agree completely.
I've worked with architect teams to help design people's farmhouses and their stables. Facility design is something that
Is picking up.
is picking up. Nobody knows. Architects don't know. You need to have made mistakes to know what not to do. We made a lot
Goes
of
back
mistakes.
again.
Yes.
Mistakes are your lifeboats.
Yes.
What's the essence of bootstrapping? And what would you advise a lot of our viewers in terms of bootstrapping versus fundraising? Is there any right or wrong?
I have a very controversial thought process on this and a very unpopular possibly opinion on this.
The more the unpopular, the better it is.
I'm very clear about what I do with this place. For me, I've grown up here. So this is not a business for me. To be very honest, Japaloop is a way of life. This is what I do. It's pretty much either this or drive an Uber. दूसरा कुछ आता नहीं है. गाड़ी चलाने को. So there's a little desperation involved over here as well.
You need to laugh together, you need to cry together to be able to build together.
Those are such lovely words.
What achievement of Japaloop are you the most proud of today?
All these kids who've taken life lessons out of it.
You and your mother faced an initial loss. It was very easy for you to say that, if this is not going anywhere, let's shut shop. So for the benefit of our viewers, what is the power of taking calculated risks?
The hardest person I would say to work with is family.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to bring emotion into what should be a logical discussion. And my definition of mentorship is somebody who has an insight to offer.
How has it changed with the size and the shape of the company? Because culture with 5 employees versus 50 employees versus 150 employees, it's a shifting sand, it's a shifting goalpost.
It is.
And it's very difficult to try and hold on to it.
Very. I was like, I want to know one kand that you have done at your workplace.
And you pulled it off.
And how do you pull it off?
What's that go-to advice? Draw that inspiration from a horse and give an analogy in terms of that advice to the entrepreneur. What's been your biggest challenges And how did you manage to make this more accessible to the Janta?
There's a challenges, there's a long list.
Let's start.